Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Reading Between the Headlines. Asaf Nissim here. Let's do the thing. Headline number 1. Man United ready to give David De Gea £20 million if he leaves now for PSG, as £60 million transfer bid is prepared. Honestly, I'm completely nonplussed with regards to the De Gea stories these days. The Sun has broken this story that apparently United are so keen on selling De Gea that they're willing to pay him £20 million to leave this summer, rather than allow him to wait out a year left on his contract so he can leave on a free transfer and get a massive wage package wherever he goes, presumably PSG. It's such a ridiculous story. It was not too long ago, June 6th, that Rob Dawson, the Manchester United correspondent over at ESPN FC, was reporting that Manchester United were looking to persuade De Gea to sign a new contract. Apparently, they offered him a 5-year contract worth £350,000 a week, and that's where they were at. There is no way that De Gea really wants to spend an extra year at United just so he can leave on a free transfer and get high wages next year. It just doesn't make any sense. It sounds like, I don't know, some weird leveraging tactic, or maybe just a nonsense story that the media picked up on. United have been fighting De Gea leaving for some time. Periodically it comes up, right? And, you know, maybe it's a leveraging tactic, but to me it seems like nonsense, and it seems like De Gea just wants to leave. Replacements mentioned that I've seen have been Gianluigi Donnarumma, who's the young Italian star goalkeeper, the one that's supposed to replace Gianluigi Buffon. Of course, Jan Oblak was mentioned because apparently he was a childhood United supporter and he doesn't mind no Champions League, whatever. He wants to get out of Atletico for some reason. And surprisingly, Hugo Lloris. I don't see how that one works out, but name's out there, so see what happens. Headline number 2. Revealed. Real Madrid will not be able to buy Pogba or Eriksen unless they raise £135 million from selling players. So with no offers on the table for Bale or Rodriguez, how can they continue rebuild? I think there should be a 2 in there, perhaps. We all know that Real Madrid are planning a major overhaul. After the season that they just had, there's really no questioning the veracity of those claims, and they've been ongoing for a while. According to the Daily Mail, though, even the mighty Real Madrid has its spending limits, and they're struggling to raise the money to be able to afford their men. You'd think that they could easily sell Bale, Rodriguez, Isco, Navas, Marcelo, Kovacic, among others, but it may be harder for them to do than you might think. Bale's wages are too high. He's pushing 30. He's perennially injured. Navas is 32. Marcelo is 31. I think that if they're going to manage to raise this money, they're going to have to get it from James, Kovacic, and Isco. But will that be enough? Obviously, they've already done a pretty good job picking up some incredible A-list players like Eden Hazard, one of my favorites, Luka Jovic, and of course Ferland Mendy, who's really nothing to sneeze at. He is very, very good. Under the radar, they've actually picked up a young defender by the name of Eder Militao. He's big, he's strong, and even though he's only 21 years old, he's still got plenty of experience. He's versatile. He can play centrally. He can play on the right as a fullback. He's played as a central midfielder. He's really comfortable driving the ball forward from the back, as a lot of, really talented technical teams have been apt to bring into the roster. He scores goals. He's super athletic. Actually seems like Pepe may have had something to do with Real's acquisition. I mean, I'm just assuming they've been on the same back line since 2018. I would think Real might reach out and see what he thinks of the guy. I think we're basically looking at Sergio Ramos's replacement, at least eventually. It's true that Zidane apparently is a big fan of Ramos's, but he is 33, and not to take anything away from him, he's still in great shape. He still performs. He's still a great leader. He's still a warrior. He wants to win every single game. But apparently he pulled some nonsense a little while back with the club. There was some interest from a Chinese club, and they were offering him like double his wages. I think it was like 30 million euros. And I think he was using that to leverage a better contract from Florentino Perez, and I don't think that rubbed him the right way. Let's just say that. I think he's continually looking to replace the guy. Concerning the midfielder option, apparently Perez is a big fan of Eriksen's, while Zidane wants Pogba. Zidane's reasoning being that Eriksen is a more attack-minded midfielder, and they've already got a superstar in Toni Kroos, who just signed a new contract for that role. Pogba, on the other hand, is more versatile. He can, at any time, step in for Kroos and be that guy, but he can also sit back next to Casemiro and provide that extra defensive cover. Who knows what's going to end up happening, but it does seem like they are fully committed to getting at least one of these guys. You'd think that they were already talking to Eriksen, given that he's been so vocal and open about wanting to try something new. That would be a little awkward if it didn't pan out. Pogba, on the other hand, has been a little bit more veiled in his appreciation for what a, quote, dream it would be to play at Real under Zidane. Personally, I think they're going to go in for Eriksen. He's only got a year left on his contract. Like I said, he's been open about wanting to try something new, and I just don't think Pogba is for sale. I don't think that United can replace him, and they're going to do everything they can to keep him. What do you think, though? Who do you think Real Madrid will get rid of? Who do you think they're going to scoop? Is it going to be Eriksen, or is it going to be Pogba? Or maybe someone else entirely? Headline number 3. Sheffield United aim to pull off massive coup by signing Bayern Munich legend Ribéry on a free transfer. First of all, congratulations to Sheffield United and their supporters on getting that promotion. I don't know about you guys, but just seeing this rumor gets me a little excited. I know that Ribéry is a divisive character. Most people don't really like him. He's been involved in some shady stuff on the pitch, even more so off the pitch. But the guy is sheer quality, and having him in the Prem benefits all the true football fans. Unless, of course, maybe you're a newly promoted club or another club that ends up in a relegation battle. Okay, maybe you don't want to add quality to your rivals. He may be 36, which is obviously pretty old for a footballer, especially a forward, especially a winger, but he's still capable of some pretty exciting stuff. He didn't have a great last season with Bayern. He really didn't play much, and he had like 4 or 5 minor injuries. And yes, those injuries, those minor injuries, the fact that he's 36, that might be of concern for Sheffield, but they would get him on a free transfer, and you'd expect that he would take a cut on his wages. I'd still imagine that whatever his wages end up being, they would still be high for a club like Sheffield United. Regardless, he would be an invaluable asset on the pitch. This dude is used to winning, okay? 22 trophies in 12 seasons at Bayern is nothing to sneeze at. I don't need to tell you how dangerous a player Ribéry can be for the opposition. And Sheffield United have just been promoted after 13 years away from the English top flight. They're going to need all the experience that they can get. If Ribéry can score a wonder goal or make the difference here and there, it may be just what they need to stay in the top flight. Headline number 4. Could Man United hijack Griezmann's move to Barcelona? Reports claim Solskjaer is preparing a £95 million bid for the Atletico star. Another quasi-United story is the question of Antoine Griezmann. I've seen a decent amount of YouTube comments, general sentiments, saying that Griezmann is overrated. All I can say to these people is, your opinion is invalid. I've heard a lot of nonsense in my day, but this one is up there with the best. Griezmann is absolutely sensational. I know that I often say that stats aren't everything, and they truly aren't, but they always mean something, and sometimes they are so overwhelmingly compelling that you have to take them seriously. Griezmann's stats show a steady stream of goals and assists over the course of 7 straight years for club and country. There's a reason why United are willing to break the bank and their transfer record in order to secure his signature. He's one of the very few sure things on the market, and United could use a sure thing. If United buy Griezmann, they will be guaranteed a game-changing, high-energy, goal-getting warrior with a strong winning mentality. How many other players can you say that about? It's a very small handful. Do I think he's going to choose a no Champions League, wildcard, club rebuilding United over Barcelona? Absolutely not. According to the Daily Mail and Spain's Daily Sport, Atletico's CEO Gil Martin, quote, insists that the club have known since March that Griezmann would be joining their Spanish rivals, end quote. He said, quote, I am very clear about where he is going to play. It is known since March, at Barcelona. Still, it seems United need to make something like this happen. If not with Griezmann, then with another player of a similar profile. And again, not many of these guys exist, and even less of them exist that are willing to go somewhere next season without Champions League football. What do you think, though? Do you think he'll go to Barcelona as expected, or will he be persuaded by United and go there, or will he stay at Atletico? Also, do you think he's overrated? I can be wrong. Headline number 5. Liverpool reignite interest in Fekir, but won't pay the £53 million fee agreed with Lyon last summer. I just wanted to quickly touch on this one because I did cover this whole saga in a previous episode, and it finally looks like something is going to actually go down here. Liverpool have had a long-standing interest in Fekir to the point where he had actually passed a medical and posed with the shirt before the deal fell through. Pretty absurd stuff. I heard something, I believe it was from Arsene Wenger actually, about successful teams looking to improve their squad. It turns out that it's a pretty tricky enterprise because you could have all the best intentions, but the moment you bring anyone in, or the moment you release anyone whom you've deemed to be surplus, you're affecting whatever balance it was you struck up in getting to that point. Liverpool is no exception. They have an incredible team. This is true. But they have to look to improve because City's going to be looking to improve, and so will every other team in the league. If you aren't improving, you're losing ground, right? Liverpool have to think about where they can adjust to be more effective than they already are. To me, it seems that they want to get more attacking threat out of their midfielders. They've got 3 or 4 truly great players who have really come into their own at Anfield in the middle of the park. They've got Wijnaldum, Henderson, Keita, who's currently injured, and of course Fabinho, who, to my mind, is probably the least credited, or rather the most undercredited player of this past season's incredible campaign. None of these players really score goals. Gigi had like 3. I'm not saying that they have to score goals either. It would be pretty absurd for me to say that Liverpool has any trouble scoring goals with this setup. But I think that it's an area that Klopp wants to improve. Maybe those extra goals, that extra bit of threat from the midfield will help spread the opposition out a little more, garner a little more open space, and ultimately give them the edge over Manchester City over the course of the season. Let's not forget that Liverpool missed out on the title by a single point. So they absolutely need to be looking at minute details such as this, and Fekir is the profile of player that could improve the squad in this way. As long as he stays fit. He's racked up a number of injuries over the years, None quite so bad as the cruciate ligament injury he sustained in 2015. That kept him out for 213 days, but enough to lower his value dramatically. And maybe that's a good thing for Liverpool, who don't seem to want to spend as much this summer as they did last. What do you think? Do you think they need somebody like Fekir, or do you think they're good with the squad they have? Headline number 6. Maguire is the equal of Stones. Man United and City target talked up as ball-playing center back by Neville. This one will have Leicester City fans sweating bullets. Apparently, both massive Manchester clubs are gunning for this kid. I think we can all agree that United probably need him a lot more than City, and he does seem like the type of player that they might be able to lure over. He won't have Champions League next season as it is, so that may not be as much of a factor for him in making a decision. To me, he always kind of seems like a young player because he's only been in the spotlight for a short period of time, but he's already 26 years old. Everyone knows he's been instrumental in England's recent bevy of success. He is no youngster. This from Goal.com. Gary Neville said, "We talk about John Stones being good on the ball. I actually think Maguire is the equal of him on the ball. A big statement maybe, as Stones is seen as the composed, ball-playing center back, but I think Maguire is just as good on the ball." It's not often that I say this, but I completely agree with Gary Neville here. In fact, I'd take it a step further. If I'm putting together a winning team, I'd actually prefer Maguire to Stones, no hesitation. He may be a little bit less graceful than Stones technically, but it's a minor disparity, and his strength, control, composure, distribution, and massive attacking contribution put him above Stones for me. What do you guys think? Stones or Maguire? City, United, or Leicester? Guys, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Reading Between the Headlines. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, dare I say share it. It really does help with the visibility, and at the end of the day, it encourages me to make more content for you all. From myself and little tiny broken Picard, he's so tiny, so broken. We sincerely hope that you live football and prosper.